Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina, and today we're going to be going over the 4 selection tools in Illustrator. Now this is going to be a pretty basic video because the selection tool is pretty much the first thing that you use when you're in Illustrator, but I'm also going to go into the direct selection tool, the group selection tool, and the lasso tool. Alright, so let's get into it. Okay, so we're in Illustrator, and I have my little lizard guy here for an example. So as you can see, I have the selection tool selected, and that's right up here. The keyboard shortcut for that is V. When you're using the selection tool, you can click on an object and move it around like this. Also, as you'll notice, it has this box that popped up around it. That's called a bounding box. As you can see, there are some little squares. There's one here, here, and so on. Those you can click and move them around to alter the shape. These ones will do it vertically, these ones horizontally, and this one will do both at the same time. So if you hover your cursor over the corner of here, you'll see that a two-sided arrow pops up, and what that means is that you can click and drag to rotate it. Next to your cursor is a little thing that popped up, and it shows you exactly what angle you're rotating it at. Now we're going to move on to the direct selection tool. The direct selection tool is over here. It's usually right under the selection tool. The keyboard shortcut for that is A. This one, if you click on an object, see I clicked on the same one I did before, there's no bounding box, but instead you can see every anchor point along the path. You can see which anchor points are selected by which ones are white and which ones are blue. If I change his color to, we'll do yellow, you can see easily that when an anchor point is active, that one, these are handles, these start to show, so you can edit those, and the anchor points that are left white are not active, and their handles don't show up, so you can't edit those. Now I'll show you more about handles in a different video when we go over the pen tool, but for now just know that the direct selection tool allows you to edit those. You can also see these little corner widgets. Those allow you to edit the corners of things. See, his tail got real short then. That's because all of these are selected. Now if you wanted to, you could select just one corner, like if I just wanted to select the tail only. You could either click the anchor point, like so, or you can click and drag and it'll make a little box, and that shows you everything inside that box will be selected. So those anchor points are selected, and now I can click and drag on that widget and it makes the corner rounder. You can also do that with other shapes. Say we were to do it with a square, which I will go over that tool more in one of my other videos. So you can see if you click and drag those corner widgets in with the direct selection tool, it allows you to edit all the corners of the shape right down until it's in a circle. Now, if you have multiple anchor points selected and you edit those corner widgets, on all of them are editing at the same time, it'll stop editing all of them when one corner is highlighted in red, like his tail is, as you can see. That means that the corner widget can't round that one anymore, so it has also stopped rounding the other one. So if I wanted to round this one more, but I couldn't do it while they're all selected, then you just make sure to just select that one, and then you can edit that. Now we're going to move on to the group selection tool. Now if you see, when you look up here in your tools, menu, panel, thing, whatever, next to the direct selection tool is a little white arrow. That means that there are other tools within that group that you can click on. So we're going to click on the group selection tool. What the group selection tool does is, if all of your objects are in a group, then you can still select one within that group. Or if you have a group within a group, you can also select a subgroup. So I've grouped all of his eye shapes, and now I'm going to group the rest of him together. With my group selection tool activated, I can click on the lizard and I can edit the shapes that I want to, just like this direct selection tool. The differences are, with the group selection tool, you can't edit anchor points. See, I just clicked and dragged on that anchor point and it did nothing. So when you're in the regular direct selection tool, if I wanted to select the subgroup, it wouldn't let you do that. So I'm trying to click on like the whole group, the whole subgroup that is the eye, and it's not letting me do that because it's just selecting the one. But if you go to your group selection tool, it is a little different because I can click once, which selects just that object, but if you click it again, it would select that whole subgroup. So a quick way to get to your group selection tool is by being in your direct selection tool and holding Alt. You'll know when you're in the group selection tool because there will be a plus sign next to your cursor. Alright, so let's move on. We'll go back to our direct selection tool menu here, and we'll click on the lasso tool. Alright, so the lasso tool is really convenient where if you have a complicated artwork and you want to select multiple anchor points, but there are a bunch of anchor points, instead of going through with a direct selection tool like this and holding shift and clicking so that you can select multiple at a time. That can be pretty painstaking if you have a lot of anchor points. So with your lasso tool, instead of selecting them each one by one, you can use a freeform shape and everything within that shape will be selected. Even if I wanted to select only part of the anchor points in the eye, see, that selected everything that was within the shape, and everything outside of that is not selected. So as you'll see with a lot of the tools in Illustrator as well as Photoshop and a lot of the Adobe programs, when you're using a tool you can either press Shift or Alt and the actions will be a little bit different. When you hold Alt, it shows a minus sign next to your lasso tool, and when you hold Shift, it shows a plus sign next to your lasso tool. So say I've selected the eye area again, but I also wanted to select one anchor point from over here maybe. You can hold Shift and I'll select his whole foot and that adds, but say I don't want this one anchor point on his wrist, you can hold Alt and that negative sign will come up and it'll make it so that it deselects that. So Shift is to add anchor points and Alt is to take away anchor points that you have selected. Alright, so that's it. That's how you use all the selection tools in Illustrator. I hope this helps. I hope you maybe learned something. I'll have more videos coming on how to use the other tools and a bunch of other things in Illustrator as well. So I hope you'll join in then. But until then, good luck learning Illustrator and I wish you the best.